Well, look at that. If it isn't Nayu's little hero, who'd have thought we'd meet again? In Elsewhere, of all places. You wouldn't happen to be traveling to the town of Hakoshe, would you? I'm investigating a rumor about the town's leader, Magnate Fena Darak. Word has it that she's a descendant of the Akaviri potentate. A rather curious rumor, given that the potentate's bloodline should have been wiped out over a century ago. It's a personal matter, pertaining to my grandfather's legacy. Painful as it is to say, my family's reputation depends on proving this rumor false. You wouldn't happen to be looking for work, would you? I could use... Why don't you begin by speaking to the lady in question? The magnate should be in the town square. Strike up a conversation and see what she reveals. In the meantime, I'll begin my own investigation. See what I can dig up. Hakoshe was built after the fall of the Akaviri potentate. It's been... let's see now. A little over 100 years now? Yes, right around that. The town was founded by the Akaviri refugees who fled during that time. The Akaviri come from the land of Akavir, a continent east of Tamriel. They first invaded Tamriel in the First Era, but were ultimately convinced to join the Empire. Hakoshe is populated by... Yes, the Akaviri took the fall of the potentate as a rather obvious sign that they were no longer welcomed in Cyrodiil. Many of them fled to elsewhere. Hakoshe is... I suppose that's a matter of perspective. After all, generations of imperial marriages have considerably thinned the bloodline. Still, Hakoshe does strive to maintain Akaviri culture and customs, starting with the town's rather distinct name. Potentate Vesidou Shea began his political career as advisor to Emperor Riemann III. When the Emperor was assassinated, the potentate stepped up as Cyrodiil's leader. Very fortunate for Vesidou Shea, of course. He was Emperor in all but name. So goes the rumors, though nothing was ever proven. Unsurprisingly, an Akaviri on the Ruby Throne created conflict. The potentate was eventually assassinated himself. The Morag Tong, of course. Who else would be so competent? Following the death of potentate Severian Chorak and his heirs, a large number of Akaviri and their followers left Cyrodiil. As an agent of the Morag Tong, my grandfather had the honor of executing the last remaining heir of the Akaviri potentate. But here's... If Magnate Fena Darak truly is the descendant of the potentate, it proves without a shadow of a doubt that my grandfather failed. While I would just love to give you all the torrid details of my last few writs, I'm afraid that secrecy comes with the job description. Suffice it to say, decided to come for a bit of sightseeing. After all, I heard... Perhaps. After all, the Morag Tong does like to keep me busy. But right now, what I need to do is gather information. Who? Oh, you know her. Probably up to the usual. A little wine, a little murder. Honestly, I generally find it in my best interest to not know exact details.
I haven't been able to sleep all week. Please, can't you do something?
Of course. I'll have the town guards investigate tonight.
Thank you, Magnate Fena Darak.
And who do we have here? Come, let us speak. Welcome to the town of Hakoshe. I must say it is not often I see a new face. Have you perhaps come to take part in our festival? The Proving Festival, yes. Through a series of trials, the people of Hakoshe must prove themselves to their ancestors. We do so by completing 3 trials, otherwise known as the 3 proofs. First, the proof of reference calls on our ancestors to witness our deeds. Second, the proof of strength displays our might and bravery. Lastly, the proof of wisdom tests our knowledge and wit. Through these trials, we show our worth. Of course, I'm sure you too have ancestors you wish to honor. First, you must speak with Domitia Nasica. You'll find her just by the river. Listen well to her words. Let me know if you have any other questions. I realize that Hakoshe can be quite the curiosity for travelers such as yourself. Nothing to worry about. Domitia just hasn't been sleeping well. She believes there's some... Of course, I'd never dismiss a citizen who seeks my aid. Having the town guards investigate will help ease Domitia's fears. Though Hakoshe is known for its Akaviri ancestry, the truth is that our imperial bloodline runs far richer. Still, we honor our Akaviri ancestors by maintaining some of their customs. The Proving Festival has not been celebrated since Hakoshe was first founded. I didn't even know it existed until I found a first-hand... I'm not sure. Perhaps the town just wasn't interested in celebrations when Hakoshe was first... I hold the title of Magnet, though I have no emperor who supports me. Still, my family has led Hakoshe since its founding, and chose to take the title because it was our family who founded it. My ancestors wished to create a place of safety and peace, where Akaviri traditions could continue to be passed down and honored. A goal I still strive to respect to this day. Yes, as is my family's tradition. We tend to keep closer to our Akaviri heritage than most. I even speak a little of the language, though I suspect my accent is quite atrocious.
Oh, you're that traveler I saw earlier. Do you need something? Truly, that was certainly nice of her. Your first step is to complete the proof of reverence. This trial allows us to call upon our ancestors to watch over us, as we prove ourselves worthy of their name. With this paper lotus, write the names of your honored ancestors on its petals, and place the lotus in the river. This will allow it to float into the afterlife. Think of it like a calling card, a way to get your return to me when you've completed your task. Oh, and feel free to ask any questions you may have. This is Hakoshe's first proving fest. Excited, of course. Honestly, I'm shocked we gave up the tradition in the first place. Our town doesn't have much wealth or power. But before we can prove ours... Yes, it is. I used to, when I... Through this proof, you have shown reverence. Well done. Next is the proof of strength. You'll need to... You overheard that? Ah, well, yes. I've started hearing noises at night. I don't, though the magnate has... Good luck with the proof of...
What can I do for you, traveler? You wish to prove yourself before your ancestors. Very well. To the north lies a cave. Ah, didn't I mention? The cave also happens to be a... Make sure to keep your... The Akaviri have always placed a great emphasis on martial prowess. The greatest. Akaviri warriors are known for both their might and magic. It was only because of their aid that General Reem... Proud warriors who formed the Dragonborn Reeman's personal guard. Unfortunately, they seem to have disbanded after the Akaviri potentate fell. Yeah! You have the look of... most impressive. I'd say you've certainly made your ancestors proud. Good thing. Quite right. It's part of why honoring our ancestors is so important. Happy ancestors gift their yes, death. Of course, you'd need to perform a great dishonor for such a punishment. Now, don't dawdle now. Yeah!
Why, if it isn't our town's mysterious stranger. Magnet Fena Derak told me all about your participation. Have you completed the first 2 proofs? Excellent, excellent. Then you are ready for the proof of wisdom. I am most useful when of course. What better way to show your wisdom? The riddle describes one. Best of luck, dear. And if you have it throughout, of course, I am most useful when empty. You've written... Yes, that is indeed the answer. Oh, I'm just so happy you guessed correctly. She just has a lot riding on her shoulders. We're all... May our ancestors...
Enjoying the festival, are we? I'm sure you've heard a great deal about Akaviri culture today, but tell me, did you learn anything about the magnate herself? Everything you've learned seems to support the rumor. A descendant of the potentate would certainly... I've made some inquiries of my own. It seems that Magnate Fena Darak has quite... We need a key, and I'm positive the captain of the guard carries one. If you would do me the kindness of chatting him up... Very well. Let's get moving.
I saw several Reachmen run north, headed home. May a werewolf devour them before they get there. Greetings. Say, aren't you the traveler who joined the Proving Festival? Are you now? Well, that's certainly an impressive feat. Honestly, this whole affair has been nerve-wracking for me. I'm not too keen on dishonoring my ancestors. To be honest, barely. The first two proofs were easy enough. Threw a paper lotus in the river, grabbed a sugar daisy for Vecdrasi. I'll admit it, I had a little help. Magnate Fena Darak gave me a hint. She's a gracious lady, our Magnate.
Glad you could make it. Quickly now, let's head inside. Well, that's certainly odd. There must be something here to take down that barrier. I'm willing to bet those tablets would fit rather nicely into these sockets on the floor. Well, that certainly wasn't right. Care to try again? Looks like that did it. Let's head in. The magnate left a letter on her desk. Interesting, don't you think? Seems this letter confirms that the magnate is descended from the potentate. What a pity.
Just what are you two doing here? Get out at once!
Traitor! How dare you claim to be of my blood?
What? What's happening? Please, no!
Vegetal. Well, it seems we've confirmed that Fena Darak is a descendant of the potentate. just in time for her to be whisked away by some vengeful spirit. Just my luck. Isn't that part of the Akaviri's beliefs? Disrespect your ancestors and they'll have their revenge. And given the spirit's armor, he was definitely Akaviri. Huh. Makes me wonder what the magnates did to deserve such a fate. I'm not sure, but it's as good a guess as any. Given the turn of events, we'd best go after them. Perhaps the local tombs? If I know ghosts, they don't often wander far from their graves. Some Akaviri is so upset with the magnate that he's returned from the dead. And if I'm to see this investigation, at least we have someone to search. Clever. No wonder Nayu likes you so much. I will say that it is in the Morag Tong's interest that this matter be settled. That's not the Morag Tong's concern, now is it? My investigation is still on... Glad you could make it. I see them, just up ahead.
Still you hunt me, assassin scum? Was my death not enough?
This disappearing act is getting very old, very fast. He seems to think that I was the Mer who assassinated him. Could be a simple case of mistaken identity. After all, my mother always... As a member of the Morag Tong, my grandfather executed a great number of people. But, given... Best if we split up and go our separate ways. Proconsul Baloran Kai, I presume?
Very good, assassin scum. You and your companion have been most insistent. Come, let us speak. Faina Derek has called my spirit to judge her. By her quill, my name was written. By her hands, the paper lotus placed. And so I have come to punish her wickedness. And yet you try to stop me. Who are you to deny me my revenge? When I escaped Cyrodiil, I had but one man to protect me. Someone I placed my utmost faith in. My utmost trust. Lieutenant Line Bardwick. But when it came time to guard me from my Morag Tong assassin, my protector fled. Yes. Though not before I was able to inflict a mortal wound myself. Both I and my assassin died that day. But not Line Bardwick. He looted my corpse and claimed my name. It was he who founded Hakushe, not I. Her family continued to spread the lies of my betrayer. For centuries, they have proclaimed themselves nobility. But all they have inherited is lies. She must renounce her title and tell her people the truth. Only then will I be content. Go then, and convince Faina Derek to speak the truth. Only that. The Proving Festival is a time for the Akaviri people to commune with their ancestors. Not only does it allow the dead to view the living world, it also invites us to cross over. Faina Derek called me to judge her. I have come to do so. And so I did not kill her, as I attempted to kill Line Bardwick when first this festival was held. My lieutenant also summoned me by our ancient rites, though he didn't. Line Bardwick was a strong mage in his own right. He cast me away.
I can't believe it. The founder of Hakushe, my ancestor, he lied? You don't understand. To admit such a horrid truth wouldn't just dishonor me. It would dishonor my entire family. All of my ancestors who have done such great things for Hakushe. No. I don't want to keep lying. The citizens of Hakushe deserve nothing but my complete honesty, even if it comes at the cost of my family's reputation.
I'll be watching, Faina Derek, waiting for you to speak the truth.
I'll keep my word.
Well, seems like it's time to get going then. I'll meet you in the town square.
I shall see.
It seems my investigation has come to an end. The rumor was false, my family name is cleared, and no one even needed to be... The Morag Tong isn't one to leave loose threads, even one that's been dangling for over a century. Luckily for Faina Derek, my grandfather was able to complete his writ. Here, a reward for services rendered. Now, despite our daring rescue, I'm certain the Magnate doesn't want a member of the Morag Tong hanging about, if I had to. My preference was always to prove this rumor false. My grandfather was following a writ which called for the death of potentate Severian Shore. I'll let the Morag Tong know your feelings soon as I'm back in Morrowind. I'm sure they're just dying to hear your... The Morag Tong is an organization... I'd ask you not to compare us to those lunatics. Our practices, morbid as they may seem, are...
My family has long claimed to be descended from the potentate. But this is not the truth. The man who founded the town, my ancestor, was a traitor. He betrayed Proconsul Baloran Kai and stole his name. My family's legacy is only a lie. I revoke my title as magnate. And should you decide it, I will leave Hakoshe forever. This dishonor is mine to bear. And I accept it.
No! We still want you to be our magnate!
You're an honorable woman, Faina Darak.
You deserve to lead this town.
Everyone, thank you. Thank you so much.
Finally, I am a vet.
Greetings, traveler. I hope you're doing well. Honestly, I'm still wrapping my head around it all. My entire life, I thought that I was a descendant of the potentate. To realize that was... Yes. For as long as
Well, aren't you off in a hurry? Heading to Surindar's cradle? I hope you brought your own water skin. Or you could buy one off me. My rates are reasonable, given the drought. Water, or rather the lack of it. Something stopped the flow from the aqueduct to Surindar's cradle. Don't know. Old stones, old gates and levers. Who can say for sure? I overheard the adepts discussing the trouble. A young one.
Disrupted my work. Now, suffer the consequences. Anda, vivarai! How can you feel that you do not comprehend?
Asura, is this truly the path you set me on? A fellow wanderer on the path. Greetings, I'm Vastari. If you plan to explore the Ashen Scar, I'd advise caution. Some dark intention has this canyon in a vice grip. An inopportune time for a visit. Then again, perhaps we're meant to be here. An undead awakening, as intense as it is unstable. The corpses emerge in fits and starts for now. Yes, maybe you can. I find myself having difficulty focusing. If the force that reanimates these corpses exerts pressure on the mind as well, that would be profoundly unsettling. I intend to search these ruins for answers. Will you join me? I'm glad to have your company. As I said, something about this place puts me ill at ease. Now, are you ready to proceed? We did indeed. I recognized you, of course, but I find that reunions can get a bit awkward if one party doesn't recall the other. I'm glad I made an impression. You certainly did. I'd still be bumbling around Cold Harbor if not for you and Azura. The very same. I find that title rather coarse, but ultimately, titles tell more about the speaker than they do about the subject. Wouldn't you agree? In these lands, she's called Azura, Queen of the Night Sky and Mother to all Khajiit. Love. With Azura, everything begins with love. A love that is fierce, possessive, even cruel, but always true and impossible. Yes, though not as fervently as they used to. A prophet named Ridthari-Data revealed the secrets of the Riddlethar to the Khajiit some years back. I always hate to see a rich tradition usurped by a flimsy. It's the site of an ancient Khajiiti temple to Azura, the Temple of the Hidden Moon. I conducted some research on the temple before I... Undoubtedly. What little scholarship I did find referred to a sprawling nest. That's the hope, yes. Excellent. The Hidden Moon Temple stands at the very center of the Ashen Scar. The adepts who lived there vanished centuries ago, but the air still crackles with arcane energy, necromantic energy. But there's more. A malice that... By Azura, that sound! Wait! My friend, wait! Forgive me. I didn't expect to face such resistance. Yes, and no. It felt as though I was struck blind and deaf, save for the sound of a beating up. You seem unaffected. Good. I can't go any farther. Not until I understand the three stones act in concert, so be sure to place them in a broad... No, not at all. Truth be told, necromancy is my primary area of expertise. The study of souls, to be more specific. I trust that the magical art of reanimating and communing with the dead. Most people find it's coercive. I'm sorry you feel that way. But truthfully, I don't blame you. An experiment of mine. Expended soul gems reinfused with a... Well, for one thing, they'll allow me to... Perhaps. I hope so. No. Good. I sense... Yes. Some kind of wards infused into the architecture, though weakened by the march of time. Someone tried to prevent this. corruption here is just suffocating, like a dark fog rising from below, bidding the dead to serve. Excellent. My sight grows clearer. I see a maze of catacombs below. Undead lies there too. And something else. Ah, there's a concentration of dark energy in the exposed tomb at the center of the scar. Meet me there. The ore! Destroy it! Quickly!
Your pathetic magics are useless here, witch of Azura. Flee while you can. The hour of my return has come.
Thank you for acting quickly, friend. The situation appears much worse than I thought. The being you just encountered, it was the shade of a dark lich, an undead Khajiit possessing unimaginable power. You just shot. A focus, like an arcane vessel or container. Think of the stones I gave you earlier. Those contain a sliver of my essence, but nothing of what makes me who I am. Phylacteries contain much larger fragments of the soul. Powerful, but dangerous tools. You destroyed one, yes, and the shade simply taunted us. There must be others. If we're to have any hope of stopping this lich, I admire your optimism, unfounded though it may be. Did you notice the body near the wall? No, nothing so complicated. I mean only your kindness does you credit. But we can't. It will amplify my senses, just like before. It will take all my concentration to make. No, nothing so complicated. I mean. Stand back. Mithralas Zelanfenal Peridanere.
Willem, you must listen.
Speak with him, quickly.
We do not have much time. This one feels his spirit slipping away. The Dark Lich, Arum Kal, has awakened. Arum Kal, the ancient defiler, the Dark Adept, destroyer of the Hidden Moon. If he regains his full power, death and horror will scour all the sands of elsewhere. The orb, I tried to claim it for myself. It sent me to a realm of nightmares, where Arum Kal's spirit reigns as king. He tore my soul to pieces, then used the remnants to awaken his body, and everything else in this cursed place. He... No more! Release me, please!
Azura, have mercy on him. I'd say he learned his lesson. Well done. I had hoped to glean a bit more, but that name is enough. Arum Kal the Dromathra. Arum Kal the Moonslayer. Mages whisper his name as they do that of the Worm King Manimako. Oh, I thought him long gone. Seems I was wrong. Whatever wards the disciples of this temple put in place to keep Arum Kal bound are failing, and it's unlikely we'll find the means to mend them. We'll have to deal with this threat head-on. The Khajiiti spirit called Arum Kal the Dark Adept and the Ancient Defiler. Could Arum Kal's fate and the fate of the Hidden Moon Adepts be in the former residents of the Hidden Moon Temple? They vanished centuries ago, but the ruins of their sanctuary remain. If they... Yes, probably. Memories run deep in places like this, and where there are memories, there are spirits. Helpful. I'm going to take a moment to make sure we didn't miss anything here. I'll meet you at the temple summit soon. Well, for starters, he's more... Yes, sticks in the throat a bit, doesn't it? Drama, something you... There are things... Yes, attention, but lichdom is a state of being. This is just academic curiosity, right? Because I can't overstate the risks. To become a lich, the necromancer must press... Souls contain tremendous power, but they place certain checks on mortal will. Divesting the two, soul and mortal form, removes these boundaries. Traveling through the phylactery can tear a lich's psyche apart, resulting in madness. A few. We should get back to the task at hand. I know little more than what I've already told. Well, modern Khajiit... That would make sense. My lady carries a single moon in her right hand, and legends speak of her parting the Tamrielic moons, Massa... You've arrived. I sense there's a great deal to uncover here. some kind of Khajiit children's tale?
You know better than that, Witch of Azura.
Greetings, Spirit. We've come in good faith.
Very well. Who is this youth who travels with you, I wonder? Come, child. Let old Maza Miri have a look at you. Trespasser or pilgrim? Both, I think. But you walk this path aimlessly, child. I am Maza Miri, clan mother of the Hidden Moon. Why are you here, I wonder? Too late for that. Our rewards flicker and fade. My children all lie dead. No one and nothing remains to stop Arumkal. We failed. I failed. Even if a champion emerged to wield the Moonlight Blade, the hour is too late. Azura's Sword of the Faithful. Oof, you know nothing of our ways, child. Even so, I see strength in you, and great deeds in your wake. Read the stones that still stand here. We will see if your mind and spirit are as keen as your blades. How would you know what to ask? You know nothing. Just read the stones, child. The only people more impatient than the very young are the very old. And Mazamiri is very old indeed. Deeds now, questions later.
I see. The Hidden Moon Adepts practiced a form of necromancy here, pressing the souls of their corrupted kin into service so that they might be redeemed. Fascinating. So, the Adepts acted as soul shepherds? Ushering true souls to paradise and bent souls to this great darkness. Quite a task. So, the Adepts charged themselves with defending the liminal border between this world and oblivion.
Come
the
now,
lunar
wanderer.
lattice, as
If
they
you're
saw
not
it.
afraid,
Gatekeepers
I have
of the
more
sword.
to show you.
Intriguing.
Do you see now, child? We servants of the Hidden Moon protected and guided the people's souls. Both true souls and bent, guardians and redeemers. Now, all that remains of our order are old stones and old spirits. Spirits like me. Azura's twilight path, the path to love and redemption, is fraught with perils and temptations. I thought I prepared our adepts to face the darkness without falling to it. I failed. Arumkal is the result. How easy you make it sound. You may know that the dust storm will tear down your house, but knowledge alone will not beat back the wind. A wise corpse is no less dead. Come, Mazamiri will teach you one last lesson. Now for the story no teaching stone can tell. Arumkal served our order for many years as our greatest champion. But as his power grew, so did his pride. In time, he renounced his faith in Azura and turned to the dark path, the way of the Throne. Many adepts fell under his sway, and the order collapsed into civil war. The battles sundered the temple and blighted the canyon below. triumphed in the end, but Arun Kor would not die. He fled, seeking refuge in one of his orbs. We locked the orbs away, but now our wards grow brittle, and Arun Kor prepares to emerge once again. Only a warrior of the Hidden Moon can end this, and only with the powers of the Moonlight Blade. Make no mistake, child. Arun Kor's power and hatred have only grown since we first locked him away. The remnants of our order spent their waning years looking for a way to destroy him permanently. We found one, but it carries great risk. It is more than a blade. It is a gateway, a path, a key. A sacred tool of our order, given to us by Azura herself. Perhaps you can bear this weapon's weight. Perhaps not. This calls for another test, I think. Only a handful of adepts have ever held the Moonlight Blade, and each of them possessed a will of iron. I need to know your quality. I will conjure dark spirits in the next chamber. Banish them without falling yourself, and the blade is yours. I would worry if you didn't. Well, go on. Ask your questions, child. Only the very crude would call it necromancy. Yes, we reanimated the skeletons of fallen Khajiit, but always as a path to redemption. The Dromath by fighting for their true spirited kin. Victory illuminated the soul and loosened Namira's hold on them. When the noise of the dark. On the edge of eternity, Azura watches over the gates of the crossing behind the lunar lattice. It is a twilight realm where death's tide. As I said before, it is a gift from our mother, Azura, and the greatest treasure of our order. Those who learn the Moonlight Blade's discipline, we did. But despite the sword's power, Arun Kor escaped to a place where we could not follow. The adepts who survived our war with the Lich made great sacrifices to further empower the blade. Yes, it is. He twisted our powers to create something profane. We must use our powers to destroy it. Arun Kor was one of my greatest pupils. Strong, very strong, and sharp as Boethra's tongue. Like you, why do we not aid more Dromathra? Why fear Namira if we bear Azura's blade? Why do we fear at all? My answers never satisfied. When the time came to select a new steward of the Moonlight Blade, Azura chose another to wield it. Shandori, his friend. Soon after, yes, he whispered lies to his fellow adepts, convinced them that Azura treated us as slaves and worse. The Dromathra approach, child. Will you dance to the song of the dark? Or will you close your ears and fight? Well done, child. Well done. Come, the sword is just ahead. Behold, child, Shandori, guardian of the Moonlight Blade. Know that if you take the sword, You take an oath to destroy Arum Kal as well.
Mazamiri. So, the fateful moment is upon us.
It is, Shando.
So, Mazamiri's champion arrives at last. Then the battle is upon us. Azura be praised. I am Shandori of the Hidden Moon. Together, we will destroy the dark spirit of Arum Kal. The blade and I are one. Long ago, I turned away from the sands behind the stars, from paradise, and asked Azura to let me reside within this sword instead. Here, I will stay until Arum Kal has hissed his last. Patience. The blade has rested here for too long. My connection to Azura and the Lunar Lattice feels faint, weak. We cannot face Arum Kal until we restore the sword to its former strength. We should seek out this swordmender as soon as possible. Arum Kal has spent centuries plotting this escape. If he regains his full strength, even the powers of the Moonlight Blade may fall short. Yes, it does my heart good to see her again. She was my teacher. And after Mazamiri swore to safeguard the blade and the temple for as long... Speaking about oneself is as you wish. In life, I serve the Order as a defender of the Lattice and steward of the Moonlight Blade. Any dark missed or chose not to see. Banishing spirits brought him too much joy. A hidden... Arum Kal was my brother. An ancient gift from our patron Azura. We prayed over it. It exists here on Nirni, but not only here. I would say more, but simply describing the blade's power does it no justice. Restore the sword, champion. By the grace of Azura, all will become clear soon. Dark Moons, has the faith truly withered that much? Yes, Azura.
Brave Shandori will guide you now, child. But do not fear. Old Mazamiri will be watching.
Oh, welcome back.
A witch of Azura? You bring worthy allies to this battle, Sword Wielder.
And you've made a new friend, I see. Excellent. I didn't gather up any ancient spirits like you, but I did make a vital discovery. In studying the phylactery you destroyed, I identified 3 more orbs hidden deep within the temple catacombs. We should make destroying them a priority. The Moonlight Blade, eh? And I assume this spirit bound himself to the sword somehow. Fascinating. With this blade, and a wise spirit guiding us, we finally have a real chance at defeating Arum Kal. Well done, my friend. Azura's will resonates within that Moonlight Blade, but it's so faint. Like a voice at the far end of a darkened hallway, or the other side of a stone door. That's it! This sword, Arum Kal's phylacteries, they're not vessels, they're gateways. I told you before, Arum Kal's phylactery felt different somehow. Cavernous. Now I see it wasn't a vessel. It was a gate to another realm. Something about the enchantment. It's purposeful. Its strength seems tied to your new friend's will to serve. Fighting, the undead outside should provide the power you need. If the world you see is just a small fraction of all it is, my friend. Realms of oblivion, pocket dimensions, The ethereal, a good quest. The Riddlethar cult would have them somewhere else entirely. If my suspicions are correct, they connect to a plane of his... I can't be sure, but the theory seems sound. Comfortable? No, of course not. But life is full of little concessions. I really can't be sure. If his hatred of Azura...
So, Arumkal's orbs lead to a shadow realm of some kind. Moon's mercy. Is he so desperate to be free of us? In that case, it will soon sing with moonlight. Yes, Swordfielder. And may Azura bless... The ancient texts tell us that the great we will destroy. Returning. Every dark spirit strengthens the blade's connection to the crossing. Bridge between nearly and what lies beyond. Ha! Hunger. One day they will repent of their sins. Not today, so we banish them back to the void. Good. Moonlight Blade sings the Hidden Moon song again. Take it to Azura's gate. We will speak further there.
We may have a problem. This gate won't budge. Speak to Chandori, would you?
Azura's gate. I had almost forgotten its beauty. No door bearing Azura's likeness is locked to the wielder of the Moonlight Blade. Once we enter the temple, we must look for Arumkal's orbs. To destroy them, we must first defeat their protectors, Shades of Arumkal. That task falls to you. They will try to flee back into the orb. But I will dance across the breach and destroy them on the other side before they escape. Without this, the power of the Moonlight Blade, slivers of Arumkal's soul. Fragments, only loose fragments. The width and breadth. Which of us will? Where will we find the Dark Adept's orbs?
His corrupt stench billows out of the northern vault, but darkness gathers to the east and west, too.
Then we strike east and west. Destroying those orbs should weaken Arumkal before our final attack.
I can't risk approaching him while he remains at full strength. I'll do what I can from here. Azura guide you, my friends.
Azura belongs to the world. Whose servants of a false queen, you will scream for mercy when I...
Quiet now. Time to serve your penance. Through faith and loyalty, brother.
Well done. Destroying the orbs diminished Arumkal's power, but I don't know for how long. You have to strike now.
Save you, brother. Another wields the Moonlight Blade.
And they will share your fate soon enough.
I arrived too late, damn. The veil is paper thin near the orb, friend. Use the Moonlight Blade. It might allow you to widen the breach. You can still catch him if you act quickly.
Azura. Upon all the spirits of my fallen kin, I pray, lend me strength. You followed. Azura be praised. My failure may not doom us after all. I hesitated, Sword Wielder. Despite all the years, all the sorrows, I still thought I could save him. Now, he prepares to reconstitute himself, to escape once again. He is. I know he is. But, Moons, forgive me. I have such doubts. How could any Khajiit abandon Azura completely? Especially a Khajiit as great as Arumkal. No. I cannot afford such thoughts. Not anymore. Good. Bring this tale to an end, my friend. Tighten your jaws, harden your heart, and strike true. You will defeat moons guide you, sword wielder. Moons guide.
Therefore, make me here. Come here and join Shando in the void.
Well done, sword wielder. Come, we have little time. There, a portal.
We haven't much time. Reach for me!
Do not worry for me, friend. Go.
Don't despair.
Destroying Arumkal's dark spirit destabilized this realm. You must go, sword wielder, before it collapses. Do not worry for Shandori. Thanks to you, my vow to destroy the Dark Adept is fulfilled. I do not know. Arumkal dealt my soul a terrible blow. What remains may simply disappear when the realm dissolves. I cannot be sure. What matters is that we destroyed the Dark Lich's blight and redeemed the Order of the Hidden Moon. No, I lack the strength to take hold of the Moonlight Blade as I did before. If Azura still has use for me, she may pluck me from this place. If not, then this is farewell. Strong will, sword wielder. You may not be a child of the Jakaje, but you fight like it. You wrestle fate with sharp claws and hissing words, just as we do. Now, go, my friend, and walk Azura's path.
They emerge.
No, I lost Shandori. I am sorry.
You have nothing to apologize for. I trained Shando to face the dark. He will find his way, I am certain. The sword wielder returns. Azura be praised. In my younger years, we would honor your victory with song and garlands of sugarcane. Mazamiri is too old to sing now, but she honors you all the same.
You return victorious. What a relief. From this side of the portal, I could only see white flames slashing through the shadows. Even so, I'm confident you sundered Arumkal's spirit. I am sorry about Shandori. I just couldn't reach far enough. There may be one way, though it's not without risk. Arumkal's realm is one of absolute darkness. If I reach out for sparks of light, I may be able to gather enough to reconstitute Shandori's soul. Your friend's soul is so thoroughly shattered, I can't be sure that what I'm gathering is actually Shandori. Any sliver of spirit that's free of Arumkal's corruption. Of course I am. When I give you the signal, hold the Moonlight Blade aloft. I'll draw the spiritual fragments through the sword, then send them on. Stand in the ritual circle and raise the Moonlight Blade. I will do the rest. Lost shattered light, come forth. Cast off your shadows and heed my call.
Shandori is whole. Azura shows me mercy.
Shando, is that you?
Yes, brother. It's time to go home.
It's so dark. I can't
My children, did you see them? Shandori never lost faith as I did. He did not give in to fear or doubt, even as the stones fell around us. Arumkal, my boy. Be gentle, Kanathi. Be merciful, Azura. My children are coming home.
So, Arumkal wasn't beyond redemption after all. That's heartening. If a creature like the Dark Adept can rediscover the light, perhaps other lost souls can do the same. I think I'll stay here a while. The Adepts of the Hidden Moon still have a great deal to teach us, it seems. As for you, the Moonlight Blade remains in your care. Wield it justly, and never forget what we accomplished here. Azura guide you, friend. We may have sundered and redeemed Arumkal, but his thralls remain. Ushering those spirits back to oblivion will keep me busy for some time. As for you, you have Azura's eye now. She'll guide you to glory. You need only listen. It appears so, with our help, of course. You should be very proud, my friend. Bringing a person so thoroughly corrupted back to the light is practically unheard of. My conjuring ritual drew every speck of light from Arumkal's realm of darkness. It appears that beneath all that evil, some kernel of Arumkal's better nature remained intact. A discovery as startling as it is uplifting. On to the next life, I suppose. Perhaps to my lady, Azura herself. Wherever they go together, and that is an encouragement.
You wield our most sacred weapon now, my child. Walk the path with kindness, humility, and compassion. But in times of darkness, do not hesitate to mete out Azura's wrath.
Saviwa can live with your constant glowing, but not your constant talking.
What sort of Khajiit doesn't want to carry his ancestors' ashes around? Your great-great-great-grandmother spent a lot of gold on this urn, you know.
TESO, the constant nagging and judging and glowing and floating. This is why Saviwa avoids his family at all costs. Especially my shiny ancestor here. We got along fine when he was ashes in an urn, but something stirred his spirit, and now he won't leave me alone. He says Saviwa spends too much time drinking and napping, as if there's something better to spend time on. Saviwa threw a big party. Everyone was having fun until a Jeek bumped the urn and woke my ancestor from the dead. Now, Saviwa needs to get the urn to our family tomb so he can rest. But warring cultists are blocking the way. You will help, yes? Fragrant, gather the urn and take it to our family tomb. Saviwa usually avoids these crypts because of all the stairs and murderous spirits, so he doesn't know exactly which tomb is ours. But he's marked the location on your map. They're fighting over territory around Rimen. These shaveskins are always fighting over something, yes? Screaming, then fighting, then screaming while fighting, then dying, then screaming about someone dying. Too much drama for Saviwa.
Remind me to ask Saviwa why these two urns are so much bigger than mine. Jurari appreciates your efforts, but this is not where he belongs. We should keep moving before the cultists find other uses for my urn. Yes, but Jorari belongs to a larger family, one that shares more than blood. Bring Jorari's urn to another tomb.
Warriors Tamriel has ever known.
Jorari remembers visiting this tomb with his brother once. This is much closer to Jorari's resting place, but not quite right. The light of the moons may lead us astray. is the place for Jorari to rest. I have never been more certain of anything in my entire death.
Defile the sacred resting place!
Finally, a tomb fit for a car. Ah, thank you. Jorari can finally rest next to his beloved queen. If Saviwa listened, he would have learned that Jorari once led this nation, and if he would have taken me to my resting place, Jorari would have led him to our forgotten treasury. Please, put my urn with the others, friend. I want to see my queen. I'm sure Saviwa will be pleased to know that I won't be bothering him any longer. Jorari hopes that Saviwa is a little bothered by the fact that he missed out on our royal treasure.
Saviwa just woke up from his best nap in weeks. You got rid of that nagging jeek, didn't you? Did you decide to just kick his urn off a cliff? Saviwa won't tell anyone if you just decided to kick his urn off a cliff. The old ghost was royalty. If Saviwa had that treasure, he would never have to work a day in his life. Oh well, Saviwa will find another way to be lazy. Take this for your efforts. It's no royal treasure, but it's the best Saviwa has to give. Saviwa wishes he had his ancestors' treasure. He could have thrown his best party in ages. There would have been nice wine, lots of ladies, weird smooth skins juggling sharp objects. Ah, it would have been good times, my friend. Very good times. Saviwa is thinking about having some drinks, then taking some naps. After that, maybe more drinks and more naps, but in no particular order. That's so.
We must do something about the water, Silujo. If you would just...
No adept can face the wastes alone, child. This one insists you stay.
Vasby cannot understand. Only puddles remain in the Adeptorium cisterns, but still Silujo forbids this one to act. Our Adeptorium, Srendar's cradle, is parched by a drought. We rely on the Anequina aqueduct to supply our water, but something halted the flow. Now adepts and pilgrims go thirsty. We tend to the sick here. Without water, many of them may die. No, and we never will if Silujo gets his way. He yowls about the risks, but Vasby is not the saucer-eyed kitten she was when Silujo found her. This one must fix this. You're a warrior, yes? Would you escort Vasby to investigate the aqueduct? Thank you for helping, Rook. We should investigate the nearest gate of the aqueduct, just south of here. Srendar willing, we will find whatever blocks the water there. Vasby will meet you soon. This one must speak to Silujo before she leaves. No, my teachers examined the Order's histories and found no evidence of droughts in the past. But we live in curious times, yes? Dragons fly, dead walk. A broken aqueduct would not seem out of place. Vasby does not think so. Before the water reaches Srendar's cradle, it passes Rimen. And for all the city's problems, a drought is not one of them. That means the flow is blocked somewhere between the city and the Adeptorium. The Adeptorium itself? I know only that our ancestors built it in the days of 16 kingdoms. Vasby has no ears for ancient history. This one does know that the Adeptorium has always been a place of healing, a refuge for all, no matter how ill. We do what we can, but Vasby fears it is not enough. Many come with seared flesh and blackened lungs, from the flames and smoke, you see? Others come with broken limbs. Most of our palliatives and salves require water, so you see the urgency, yes? About Vasby? Oh, this one's life is not so exciting, but if you insist. Vasby is an initiate and servant of Srendar. A healer in training also. Silujo and the other monks raised this one here in the cradle. Most learn the craft, but not all have the passion for it that this one does. Silujo says it is Vasby's calling. This one thinks he is right. Yes, Vasby's parents had... This was in the time of the flu, you see. Many orphans came to Srendar's cradle in those days. Most of them were not as lucky as Vasby. Silujo cared for this one like a daughter. He still does, as you can see. No, this was not so long ago, Walker. You remember the groans and hacking coughs, yes? The blood? Srendar's cradle's adepts healed as many as they could, but even the strongest tinctures and cleanest bandages fell short in the face of the flu. We should examine the gate at the top of the ramp. Open and dry, as expected. Hopefully we'll find the blockage at the second gate. Busby hopes we can find the problem soon. Otherwise, we may have to investigate the Bandar span. A portion of the aqueduct that runs through Bandar's litter. A canyon to the east of the Adeptorium. Silu Joe forbids us to go there, ever since this one was a Jakajit. Busby does not know. She has, at times, heard whispers from the older adepts. Something about the Nahatan flu. This one asked Silu-Jo outright about the place years ago. He only shook. Old moon tales. Clan mothers say the stone pillars of the canyon were Bandar's children. Elkosh turned them to stone as a reprisal for one of the bandit god's pranks. The trickster hid the pillars in this canyon where they would be warm and safe. Busby will be right behind you, but be careful, Walker. Silu-Jo can be overprotective, but he would not resort to lies to hold us back. The dangers of the waste follow the line of the aqueduct east. Ha! You protect me by clearing the way, Walker. This one wants to take a moment to study this. Caught you! Busby is a quick study, yes? Let's examine this new gate. Dry. Zistful. Wait, what is this? Curious. This scrap of cloth. Busby knows it well. It is part of a Srendar adept's habit. One of the old ones we don't wear anymore. Could an adept have been out here? Busby does not think anyone wore it. The way it is torn, it looks like someone used it to dress a wound. Do you see the stains? Maybe. Busby is no investigator, but finding something like this near the gate feels like a sign. We should find the person, if only to make sure they are not badly hurt, yes? We could start by searching around the columns that hold the aqueduct up. Someone gravely injured may have rested in the structure's shadow. No time to waste, Walker. Let's go. Certain. After the worst of the Nahatan flu had passed, Silu-Jo and the others burned every scrap of cloth touched by the illness. Quilts, linens, and yes, even their habits. Nothing remained of them, aside from paintings in the cloisters. It appears that way, yes. Come. Another shred of a habit? The blood seems more spotty. From a sword, maybe. Let's keep looking. The blood trail goes cold, yes? But what is that? A cameo? The face looks... This was not dropped by accident, Walker. There must be more to find. is a nursery rhyme, isn't it? Like the one Vasby read every night as a kitten. Srendar's Mercy. Please hurry, Walker! Swaddlecloth? Vasby recognizes that pattern. Come, let's keep looking, come! And we find a death coin lost, of course. Something that gleams to take to the sands behind the stars. We should talk. The bloody bandages, the cameo, and swaddlecloth. All these trinkets and mementos lead to a forbidden place. Bandar's litter. Busby has not been totally honest with you, Walker. This one has a very personal stake in this business. The drought. It's because of me. That is why Vasby insisted on being the one to investigate. Every year, on this one's birthday, someone leaves a gift outside the cloisters. Gifts like the nursery rhyme, coin, and cameo we found, you see? Days after the aqueduct ran dry, the gift giver left a jug of cold, fresh water outside this one's door. It was a message, you see, for Vasby. Now we find these dressings and keepsakes, all leading to Bandar's litter. Our answers are there. Old ghosts haunt this place. Angry spirits that moan and howl curses in the night. Silujo always insisted we stay away. I hate to disobey him, but we have no choice. The last sluice gate and the person we pursue are both inside. Are you prepared? Wait! Vasby saw someone! Why do they run? We do not mean them any harm. There they go. Is that the same one as before? Let's split up. We can corner him.
Who are you? Where is Busby, beloved child? Finally, you have come home at last.
Beloved, what? I don't... We only want to restore the water.
Water? No, no, no. You come for answers, child. Answers from ashes. Take her to our camp at the Bandar Gate. Kill the other and cleanse him in flame. The scouring fire will claim Sarindar's cradle soon enough.
Quickly! Over here! Silujo saw everything. We must save Vasby. Quickly, please! I may not be Vasby's father, but I feel a father's love for her. What parent would let their child wander the Kaj with a stranger? Silujo followed at a distance, but could not stop Vasby in time. The stricken cats took her deeper into the canyon. The flu. Time heals some wounds and causes others to fester. Sometimes even the greatest healer cannot see all ends. Forgive me. Sulujo is an old cat. He rambles. We must go to the Bandar Gate to halt the flames and save my Vasby. There is a cavern deep within the litter. If memory serves, it ascends to the Bandar Gate. We will find the aqueduct blockage and the Vasby there. Come, we must hurry. Silujo will try to make these sick, scarred cats see reason. To cure a sickness, a healer must know the ailment's cause. Old hatreds are not so different. We lose time discussing this. Have faith that all will proceed as Srendar wishes. These sick, scarred, you see, we call them the stricken. After the Nahatan flu ravaged their bodies, the people of elsewhere cast them out. They came to Srendar's cradle once for healing, but the king's vizier would have put our adeptorium to the torch if he knew we harbored the sick. You should know the reason they hate us. It is my fault. They wish to burn our home because I cast them into Bandar's litter to die. Wait, Silujo must speak to you. Before we go further, we must speak. The Bandar Gate lies beyond that door. The Stricken's leader as well, Vasby's true father. His love and sorrow has turned to hatred for me. Silujo has no illusions. Death waits for this one through this passage, for the actions of his past. Silujo does not fear this death if it will save Vasby. Before it happens, though, this one must ask. You now know the story of Srendar's cradle, of the sick left to die. When this one is gone, Vasby will have questions. Silujo thanks you, Walker. Choosing who lives and who dies weighs on the soul, but as a healer and a leader, I must make hard decisions. If Silujo had to do it all over again, he would make the same choice. Now... Vasby, you are unharmed, yes?
No. My daughter is not reversed to corrupt habits.
Silujo, no! This is my fault. Srendar, forgive me. He breathes, but faintly. Vasby will take him back to the cradle. My hands won't stop shaking. The Stricken's leader, Hulzar, wields horrible magic. He told me that the adepts took me from... Yes. He said he left me gifts so that I would not forget him. But seeing me grow closer to Silujo, closer to the Order, twisted his tail to the breaking point. He lured Vasby here to Banda's litter. Now he plans to burn the Adaptorium. Please, Walker, if there is any way to spare Hulzar, have mercy. Vasby knows he is mad, but to lose two fathers at once. Threndar, help me. This one is so lost. Moons, why did Silujo come here? He must have known the stricken would kill him. This one only needed saving because she disobeyed Silujo. He came here because of Vasby. He dies because of Vasby. This one knows. Hulza told me about how he and his wife, my mother, came to the cradle with a tiny Vasby in their arms. He described the long march to Bandar's litter and the cold, moonless nights that followed. More suffering on my account. How could it not be Vasby's fault? Had Hulza's wife not carried Vasby in her womb, they never would have come to Srenda's cradle. Had Vasby not sought to restore the water, Silujo would live. Please, just find Hulzar. Vasby must work.
Need to keep him from my vengeance! Come thee! Vasby, I'm sorry.
You return. Good. Vasby already loses too much today. Silujo did not... Vasby could not... He is gone. His soul wanders the sands behind the stars now. The other adepts mourn for him as Vasby does. But they do not know the truth of his death, or the cost of the water you restored. But you know. Vasby knows. And it may be too much for her to bear. Vasby loved this place. She idolized Silujo and the other healers. She prayed to Srendar for the strength and wisdom to serve as well as those who came before. But Srendar's cradle is a lie. My dream is a lie. What is Vasby to do now? The people of elsewhere think that the adepts of the cradle worked miracles to stave off the flu. Now I see that they only hid the sick in the wilderness to let them die. How can this one just ignore that? How can I dedicate my life to such a place? Yes, this one will stay, but I will not lie about what happened here. Silujo made an impossible choice, but the people deserve to hear the truth. Thank you, Walker. We only just met, but you are the closest thing to family that Vasby has left. Brothers, sisters, Vasby must speak about Silujo's passing. Before he passed, this one learned the truth of the stricken, of the role we healers played in their suffering. No longer. In Shrendar's name, we must go to Bandar's litter. We must help the stricken, and we must try to heal this age-old wound, for their sake and for ours. Vosby has much to do. At the very least, other than researching this business of the stricken. Well, there are linens to clean and tinctures to make and... Oh, I know. Thank you. Vosby thanks you, friend, for everything.